March 24, 2022, Thursday. The Bible verse is Jeremiah 31, verse 16. Refrain thy voice from weeping and thine eyes from tears. Living in this world of pain and suffering, we all go through such times when sorrow surrounds us, especially in our bereavement, when our loved ones leave us and go from this world. That sorrow is unbearable. We shed tears, and this continues for a long time. Such a time was experienced by the women in Israel when their 2-year and below male infants were killed by the Roman soldiers. This happened when child Jesus was born. A voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. What a lamentation it must have been. Every street and every home there was crying and weeping. God's people go through such terrible situation many times because of the violence of men. Behind all this is Satan, who is filled with wrath against God and His people. He knows that one day he will be destroyed along with all his activity. His time is very short, so he attacks with his fiery darts on God's people. His name is Destroyer. We find that in 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 10. He is the enemy of man. Psalm 30 verse 5 tells us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The Lord is telling to His people in Jeremiah 31 verse 16 the same thing. Refrain thy voice from weeping, for thy work shall be rewarded. Israel was to become captive in Babylon for 70 years, but God was also promising restoration. We may go to terrible and horrible situation, but our God can restore us from wherever we have fallen. He is the God who can wipe away all our tears. We find this word in Isaiah 25 verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord will wipe away tears from off all faces. Our God can only comfort us and change our mourning to laughter.